Hi, readers. Today we are going to be thinking about a different text feature of nonfiction. What is a text feature? A text feature are the parts of a book that make us figure out what the book is about. So the author of an expository nonfiction book, remember, their job is to teach us about something. So they use different text features to teach us about whatever topic they are teaching us about. So examples of text features that we've already learned about are the cover, the book description, and the pictures. Today we're going to be learning about a fourth text feature. We're going to be thinking about headings. So I want you to take a second before we start and think about what do you already know about headings. I know that Ms. Holt and I have been using that word to teach you about sketchnoting, and we've been using headings in our sketchnoting. So think about that word and think about what you already know about it. And as you do this, you might want to take a second to pause the video, make sure you have your reader's notebook and a pen, and you can go ahead and get your page set up. So today, our book is called Ants, and we are learning about headings. So we actually have two headings right here. One of our headings is ants. That's kind of the title of the page. And then our heading is heading. Isn't that kind of funny? So take a second and think about what you already know about headings. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you the book that we're going to be looking at today. So this is an extreme insects book, and it is about ants. So we're going to do what we've already done before, and we're going to look at that cover, and we're going to look at the book description. So it is called Ants, and it is by S.L. Hamilton, and it says, different types of ants are examined, such as venomous, biting, jumping, trap building, super colony, and invading ants. So that gives us an idea of what the book will be about. Remember earlier in the week when we were looking at the book covers and thinking, what will this book be about? So take a second, do that. What will this book be about? Take a second and think about that. And what do you think you will learn? Do you have any wonders? Remember that was our third thing we were thinking about. Do you have any wonders before we start? Maybe you're looking at the picture, you're remembering our picture walk, and you have some wonders, or you think that you'll learn something from the picture. So take a second and think about all of that, everything that we've done so far. Okay. So something else that you can do before you read a book. Remember how yesterday we learned about picture walks, and we learned that that was a way, if you have a book or a book online, you can look through it and get an idea of what it'll be about before you go back and read it. Well, something else you can do is you can look at the pictures and the headings and then think about what the book will be about. So let's go to this first page here and let's find the heading. Go ahead and point to your screen if you think you know where the heading is. Yeah, so the heading is usually at the top of the page, and it's usually bigger than all of the other words. So that's like whenever we've been doing headings in our sketchnoting, those are like the big words. They're big and bold, and maybe they have something that makes us look at them, that makes them stand out, like we underlined headings here. Or this time in our book, it's just big. So this heading is ants. Let's write that down in our sketch note. So it says ants. So I'm going to put a box around all the headings I see. And I see, okay, this page says it's about ants and it has a picture of ants. Cool. Then I'm going to look at the next page. So find the heading, point to it on your Chromebook screen. Yes, this one is body parts. And then I'm going to look at the picture and I'm going to see that the picture matches that heading. It's showing us the different body parts of the ant. So that's what is so cool about expository nonfiction headings. They tell us what the big idea of the page is. Other kinds of books, you have to read the page in detail and you have to think really hard and figure out what the big idea is. But what's so cool about expository nonfiction, they just tell us what it is. They put it in big letters, usually at the top of the page, and that gives us an idea of what the big idea of the page is about. And then the picture usually goes with that. So the heading here is body parts. And does that picture go with it? Give me a thumb up or a thumb down. Does the picture go with it? Yeah, it looks like We can see the labels. Remember labels? That's another text feature of expository nonfiction. The labels are showing us the different body parts of the ant. So we've got that heading written there. Let's go to the next page. Bullet ants. Whoa, has anyone ever heard of bullet ants before? I haven't. So we've got bullet ants. And then when I'm looking at the picture, I'm like, oh, that bullet ant looks pretty scary. But I know that that must be a picture of a bullet ant. So it tells us, what's the big idea of the page? What's the heading? Bullet ants. And does the picture match it? Yeah, that's a picture of a bullet ant. Let's keep going. Ooh, what's your heading here? Point to it on your screen and write it down in your reader's notebook. Fire ants. Whoa, and that must be a picture of a fire ant. That one looks pretty scary and pretty hairy, huh? And then I noticed that there's another picture also. Did anybody else notice that? And that gives me a wonder. I wonder if those are fire ant bites. Does anyone else think that that picture, that might be what the picture's about? That makes me want to go back and read that page. And that tells me that whenever I come back and read the book in detail, I'm going to make sure to read that picture because I have a wonder about it. Harvester ants. Right. Now I'm going to keep going through and I want you to keep writing the headings as I go through. Carpenter ants and leafcutter ants. Does anybody notice anything different about this page? Anybody else notice something different? This page has two big headings at the top and two pictures. So that tells me that this page, the big idea of this first page is going to be about carpenter ants. The big idea of this page is going to be about leafcutter ants. So write those down, add those. Jumping jack ants and trapjaw ants. So I'm noticing that these are all different types of ants. I've already written a couple different types of ants on there, so I'm not going to keep writing them, but you can if you want to, or you can just keep pointing at your screen. Ooh, Allomerus decanmarticulatus. So that tells me that's probably the scientific name of an ant. Argentine ants. Does the picture match the heading? Army ants. African driver ants. Dinopanera. Ants used in medicine. Does anybody notice anything about this page? Something that I notice about this page is that the other pages, most of the pages that we've seen have been, the heading has been the name of a certain kind of ant, but this is a different kind of heading. Ants used in medicine. That tells me that this page is going to be about something different than the other pages that were just telling us about different types of ants. So I'm going to make sure I write that one down on my headings page. Can you eat them? Is that one the same or different from the other headings that we've seen before? Is it the same or different? Yeah, I think that one's different. That's a different one than we've seen before. Can you eat them? That one asks a question, but it still tells us what the big idea of the page is going to be, right? Because we know we can look at the picture and look at the heading, and we know that this page is going to be about eating ants, and it's going to teach us something about that. And then we've got our glossary, which we will be learning about next week. But I would like you to start noticing that we're seeing this glossary and this index page in all of our books. So start thinking a little bit about that, but we're going to learn more about that next week. Okay, now that I have all of my headings written down from our ant book, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can see my page bigger. Now that we've got lots of headings written down, what I like to do is I like to go and write a sentence about what I think this book will be about now that I have all my headings and I've looked at the picture. So I want you to take a second to do that. I'm going to bring my reader's notebook in front of me and I'm going to write a sentence. Let's do this together about what we think the book will be about. So take a second and do this. could just give me a thumb up when you've got yours ready. Okay. So I wrote my sentence next to it. So I said, actually, it's 2 sentences what I wrote. And if you wrote something different, similar, you can give me the same. Or maybe you wrote something different. Maybe you had a different idea about this, what this book would be about. I said, I think this book will be about different kinds of ants. How did I write that? How did I get that idea? What do you think? So I remembered all those pages where the headings were the names of different ants. And that's what told me that I thought that this book would probably be about different types of ants. And then I said, I also think it will teach me about how humans use ants. How did I get that idea using the headings? Yeah, I remembered that page about how ants were used in medicine. Remember that one? And then can you eat them? And that tells me that we're also going to be thinking about how humans use ants. Do we eat them? Do we use them for medicine? So that's my idea of what I think the book will be about. That's my prediction. So I'm going to label it so that I remember later that this is my prediction. All right, readers. Great job today. Today, your job is super similar to what we just did here. I want you to go and flip to a new page in your reader's journal and make the title the name of one of the books in your Oregon Flora and Fauna collection that's been assigned to you on Epic. And then I want you to go through and find the headings just like we did here and write them on the page. And then on the other page, make your prediction about what this will be about, what your book will be about. So you're going to make a page that looks super similar to this in your reader's notebook that is about one of your Oregon Flora and Fauna books, and you will turn that in on Seesaw. All right, readers, it's the end of our week, the end of our reading week together, and we're going to keep learning about expository nonfiction next week. But I want you to take a second and celebrate everything you've learned this week. We've learned so much about expository nonfiction in just 1 week. We've learned what expository nonfiction is. Remember, it teaches us about a topic. We've learned about the pictures in the book and how to go through and look at the pictures. We've learned how to look at the cover, how to read the book descriptions. We've talked about expository nonfiction in our book group, and now we've learned about headings too. Whoa, awesome work, readers. We have learned so much this week, and I'm so excited to keep learning about expository nonfiction and keep digging into it next week. Great job.